Dear friends in the Dharma, today we sit together in the light of compassion and wisdom to reflect on the journey of life. Life is a continuous chain of moments, and old age is a special phase of that journey, where wisdom and compassion can fully blossom. The Buddha has taught us that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Aging should not be something we fear, but an opportunity for us to truly step into an era of awakening and deep understanding. Today, I want to share with you the 9 special qualities, which when we can hold on to at the age of 70, 80, we become rare jewels, precious gems in life. Each of these qualities is not just a path to longevity, but also a path to spiritual freedom and peace. Now let us explore the jewels of wisdom and how they can help us live a fulfilling life. Mental sharpness, the jewel of clarity. The first jewel I wish to share is mental sharpness. As we reach the age of 70 or 80, keeping our minds clear is a challenge, but also an invaluable gift. Mental clarity not only protects us from dangers like fraud or becoming lost in life, but it also helps us see the truth in the simplest of things. The Buddha teaches that the mind is like a lake. When the water is calm, we can see the bottom. When the mind is calm, we can see the true nature of life, avoiding deception and temptations. Today, many elderly people fall prey to false promises, phone scams, fake health products, and financial advice that is not sincere. But with a sharp mind, we can distinguish truth from illusion. However, mental sharpness is not just about avoiding danger. It helps us connect with the deep wisdom within ourselves, wisdom nurtured over the years of life. Think of the story of Mr. Min, a 75-year-old man living in Hanoi. He had lived through many ups and downs, from wartime to the era of economic renewal. One day he received a phone call from a stranger saying that his bank account had been hacked and they needed his information to fix the issue. Mr. Min did not panic. Instead, he calmly listened. Then, he told the stranger that he would call his bank directly to verify the situation. When he called the bank, they confirmed it was a scam. Min protected himself from being deceived with his sharpness and awareness. Through this story, we see that keeping a sharp mind is not just a good thing, but also a way to protect ourselves in this complex world. The Buddha taught that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. When our mind is overwhelmed by fear, worry, and confusion, we are easily led down the wrong paths. But when we cultivate mental clarity through meditation and mindfulness, we develop the wisdom that is not easily deceived. A sharp mind not only helps us avoid life's difficulties, but also helps us see deeper truths, causes and effects of actions, the lessons of karma that the Buddha has taught. In meditation, when we focus on our breath, we train the mind to become still. And when the mind quiets, we can see more clearly, both about ourselves and the life around us. So how can we keep our mental sharpness as we age? Think about the simple methods you can implement every day. Challenge your mind. Small daily exercises like crossword puzzles, playing chess, or reading books are excellent ways to keep the mind active. Lifelong learning. It's never too late to learn. Seek out new information, from modern technologies to learning new recipes. Maintain curiosity. Always hold on to curiosity about life. Ask questions, explore the unknown, and constantly seek new experiences. Now ask yourself, is my mind being nourished by clarity and sharpness? Am I challenging myself with new things every day? Take the time to reflect and realize that our mind is a precious jewel that needs to be cared for and protected. Physical health, the jewel of strength. The second jewel we must cherish in old age is physical health. A healthy body not only helps us live independently, but it is also the foundation of spiritual peace. When the body is in pain, the mind is easily distracted by suffering. As the Buddha taught, to keep the body in good health is a duty, otherwise we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear. A healthy body is the means by which we continue to practice the Dharma, continue to live a meaningful life, without being restricted by physical limitations. Think of the story of Mrs. Lan, an 80-year-old woman living in Da Nang. Every morning, she wakes up at 5:30 a.m. and begins her day with gentle exercises. After eating a simple breakfast of fruit and tea, she walks along the beach, breathing in the fresh air and listening to the sound of the waves. For Mrs. Lan, this is not just a physical routine, but also a way to stay connected with herself and nature. A healthy body allows her to live independently without depending on others and still enjoy life with gratitude. In Buddhism, the body and mind are considered one. When the body is healthy, the mind can be peaceful and focused. The Buddha has taught that taking care of the body is also a way to nurture the soul. If we do not take care of our health, the mind becomes scattered by pain and fatigue, making it difficult to practice mindfulness and awakening. So how do we maintain our health as we grow older? We do not need complex or high-intensity exercises. Simple activities, but performed regularly, bring long-term benefits. Daily walking. One of the best exercises is walking, gentle yet effective. Every step is an opportunity to connect with your breath and inner peace. Yoga or mindful movement. Gentle exercises like yoga or mindful movement help keep the body flexible while providing relaxation for the mind. Proper nutrition. Eating correctly, with plenty of fruits, vegetables, and natural foods, will provide the body with the energy and vitality it needs. We need to listen to our bodies, caring for them as we would a sacred temple. When we love and take care of our bodies, they respond with strength and resilience. Ask yourself, how am I caring for my body? Our bodies have carried us through many long journeys, enduring countless trials and tribulations. Now it is time to honor and care for them with all our compassion. When we quiet our minds and listen, the body will tell us what it needs. Engaging hobbies, the jewel of joy. The third jewel is the ability to maintain joy through personal hobbies. Those who live fully in old age often have their own hobbies, activities that allow them to feel connected to themselves and the life around them. These are not just ways to pass the time, but methods to keep their spirits young despite their age. Buddhism teaches us about the value of being present in the moment. When we do something with love and mindfulness, we are not just entertaining ourselves, but we are cultivating our spirit. Hobbies help us keep our minds clear, preventing them from being clouded by anxiety or fear. I want to share with you the story of Mrs. Evelyn, an 82-year-old woman living in a small town in Maine, USA. Mrs. Evelyn was a music teacher for most of her life, and although she retired many years ago, she still holds a deep passion for music. Every afternoon, she sits at her old piano in her small home and plays the music she loved from her youth. Music is not just a hobby for her, it is how she keeps her spirit alive, a way to connect with her memories and deep emotions. Like Mrs. Evelyn, when we spend time on personal hobbies, we are not just entertaining ourselves, but we are practicing mindfulness. Every small action, whether playing music, painting, or gardening, is an opportunity to connect deeply with ourselves. These hobbies become a bridge between the mind and the world, helping us return to inner peace and tranquility. In Buddhism, we learn to appreciate the present moment. When we are truly present in the activities we love, we are not only creating joy, but also cultivating enlightenment, learning to let go of worries and enjoy the small but precious moments in life. Maintaining joy through personal hobbies is an important way to nourish the spirit as we age. Sometimes, society may make us think that old age is a time to stop having fun, but in reality, these hobbies help keep us vibrant. Make time for yourself. Even if life is busy, remember to make time for activities you enjoy. It could be a morning in the garden or an afternoon dedicated to music. Explore new joys. Old age doesn't mean we stop exploring. Sometimes learning a new hobby can bring unexpected joy, such as learning to paint or playing a new musical instrument. Share your joy with others. Personal activities become more meaningful when we share them with others. Invite friends or family to join you in the hobbies you love. Ask yourself, what truly brings me joy? Life is not just about working or facing daily challenges. The small joys in life often come from the activities we love. Reflect on and share this joy with others, for joy is not only for ourselves, but also a way to spread happiness and peace. Lifelong learning, the jewel of curiosity. The next jewel, and also one of the most important, is lifelong learning. Even as we enter old age, learning should never be something we stop. The Buddha once said, "An open mind never grows old." Learning is not just about acquiring knowledge, but it is a way to nourish both the mind and the heart, keeping them fresh and flexible. Think of the story of Mr. Ravi, a 79-year-old man living in a small village in India. After retiring from teaching, Mr. Ravi did not want his mind to become stagnant. Even after retirement, he maintained the habit of learning every day. Each morning, Mr. Ravi would spend time reading books, exploring new knowledge. But what made him truly special was that he always found ways to learn from the small things around him. Whether it was learning how to fix an old bicycle, or learning a traditional recipe he had never tried before, Mr. Ravi always held on to his thirst for knowledge. In Buddhism, continuous learning is seen as a path to liberation. The Buddha teaches that knowledge is the path to freedom. When we open our minds to learn from life, we not only enrich ourselves but also practice compassion and wisdom. Learning is not just about external knowledge. It is also about learning to understand ourselves better, to know our minds and emotions. Every day, life offers new lessons if we are willing to listen and observe. Learning does not stop when we retire. In fact, it is during these years that we have more time and freedom to explore new knowledge. Don't be afraid to learn more, even from the small things. Read every day. Dedicate time to reading, not only for entertainment, but also to learn new things. Books are a treasure trove of knowledge, and reading helps keep our minds sharp. Learn a new skill. Even if you've never painted, played a musical instrument, or used new technology before, let yourself experience the curiosity of the mind through new challenges. Join a learning community. Many communities offer classes and programs for seniors. This is a great opportunity to meet others, learn from them, and share your own experiences. Reflect. What new thing have I learned today? Every day we have the opportunity to learn and grow. Whether it's a small truth we recognize or a new skill we try, learning is never wasted. Keep exploring and maintaining curiosity to keep our minds fresh and flexible. Financial stability, the jewel of peace. The fifth jewel on this journey is financial stability. As we enter old age, one of the most important things is the sense of security in our finances. Inner peace comes from knowing we are prepared for the future, without worrying about becoming a burden to our children or loved ones. The Buddha teaches that contentment is the greatest wealth. True wealth is not the money in our bank accounts, but the peace of mind we get from living according to what we need. Think of the story of Mr. McGregor, a 76-year-old man living in the Scottish countryside. Throughout his life, Mr. McGregor worked as a carpenter, saving every penny so he could live a simple life in retirement. Now he lives in a small house by the river, not far from town. He does not have many material possessions, but he lives a simple life without worrying about money. He says that the most important thing to him is peace and the ability to live independently without troubling his children. Mr. McGregor's life is a testament to how contentment and simplicity can bring happiness. In Buddhism, we learn about letting go, not clinging to material wealth. The Buddha taught that contentment is the doorway to true happiness. When we let go of desire and keep only what is truly necessary, we will find inner peace. Financial stability is not just about how much money we have. It's about knowing how to live with enough, without wanting too much. When we live simply, we lighten the burdens of life, and our minds can focus on higher spiritual values. Maintaining financial stability doesn't mean we need to have a lot of wealth. Instead, it's about managing what we have wisely and living with simplicity. Make a financial plan. Ensure that we have a financial plan for old age, preparing for necessary expenses. Live simply. Learn to live simply, without getting caught up in the need to possess too much. When we live simply, we reduce worries about money. Share with the community. One way to find joy and peace and financial stability is to share with the community. When we give, we also receive the satisfaction and connection with those around us. Reflect. Do I feel at peace with my finances? Life is not always about having a lot of money, but about living with what we have. Seek contentment in simplicity, and let finances become a part of your inner peace. Broad-mindedness, the jewel of acceptance. The sixth jewel on this journey is broad-mindedness, the ability to keep an open heart and accept the changes in life. As we grow older, we sometimes become rigid, clinging to old ideas. But those who know how to open their hearts and accept change continue to grow spiritually, regardless of age. Think of the story of Mrs. Margaret, a 78-year-old woman living in a quiet village in Ontario, Canada. Throughout her life, Mrs. Margaret followed strict principles and wasn't easily swayed from her opinions. But when she became a grandmother and her children and grandchildren had different views from her, she began to learn how to listen and accept. Mrs. Margaret said that the hardest thing in life was letting go of what she was familiar with and opening herself to new ideas. But it was this practice that helped her maintain harmony in her family and continue to grow spiritually. Buddhism teaches us about non-attachment. The Buddha taught that clinging to fixed thoughts, emotions, and opinions is the cause of suffering. When we learn to let go, we create space for peace and wisdom to grow. Broad-mindedness doesn't mean we give up our core values. Instead, it's about learning to accept imperfections, differences between people, and living with compassion and understanding. Broad-mindedness can be practiced every day through small actions. Listen without judgment. When we listen to others, try to listen with empathy, without rushing to judgment. Let go of expectations. Sometimes we expect too much from others or ourselves. Learn to let go of unnecessary expectations and accept life as it unfolds. Practice compassion. When faced with difficulties in communication or relationships, practice compassion toward others and yourself. Ask yourself, am I keeping my heart open to the changes in life? Broad-mindedness not only brings peace to the soul, but also helps us maintain loving and meaningful relationships. Practice broad-mindedness in all aspects of life, and you will see peace blossoming from within. Strong social connections, the jewel of compassion. The seventh jewel in this journey is strong social connections. We cannot live in isolation. We cannot find peace if we lack loving relationships around us. The Buddha taught that no one can live isolated like an island. Our connection with those around us brings us joy and comfort, especially when we have entered old age. Social relationships are not just about gatherings or conversations, but about sharing, understanding, and helping one another. When we maintain deep relationships with family, friends, and the community, we are practicing compassion and gratitude, core values in Buddhism. Think of the story of Mr. Francisco and Mr. Jose, two friends who have lived in the same small village in southern Spain since childhood. Now, both are in their 80s. Every morning, they meet at the small village square, sit under an ancient tree, and talk about life, family, and old memories. Both men have their own families, but their friendship is what helps them overcome life's challenges. They not only share joys, but also comfort each other when one loses a loved one or faces health issues. Buddhism teaches that all beings are interconnected. We do not live just for ourselves, but for others. connection with the community helps us develop compassion, learning to love and understand others. The Buddha taught about the importance of Sangha, the monastic community, the community of practitioners. In the Sangha, we find mutual support, sharing experiences, and life lessons. The community is not only where we receive help, but also where we contribute, share wisdom, and love. Strong social connections do not happen naturally. They must be nurtured over time, with sincerity and understanding. Here are ways we can build and maintain these relationships, even in old age. Maintain regular contact. Ensure that we always maintain relationships with family, friends, and the community. Whether it's a short phone call, a message, or a visit, our presence creates strong bonds. Participate in community activities. Many communities offer activities for the elderly, from classes, discussion groups, to social gatherings. These are excellent opportunities to connect with like-minded individuals and learn from them. Share and listen. One of the best ways to maintain relationships is to practice compassion through listening and sharing. Listen to others with an open heart, without judgment, and share your thoughts and feelings with sincerity. Ask yourself, am I taking care of the important relationships in my life? Am I listening and sharing with my loved ones? Life cannot be fulfilling without connection to others. When we live with compassion and sharing, we receive joy and peace in return. Harmonious communication with children, the jewel of understanding. The eighth jewel is the ability to maintain harmonious communication with our children and younger generations. In family life, generational differences often lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. But if we can learn to listen with compassion, we will create harmony in the family and build strong relationships with our children. The Buddha taught that peace begins from within. Harmonious communication is not about imposing our opinions on others, but creating space for mutual understanding. When we speak to our children with compassion and understanding, we not only maintain harmony in the family, but also impart the values and wisdom of the Dharma to the next generation. Think of the story of Mr. Bill, a 74-year-old man living in Sydney, Australia. Mr. Bill has two grown children, both busy with their own lives and work. Mr. Bill always found it difficult to communicate with his son due to differences in lifestyle and modern views that his son pursued. One day, Mr. Bill decided to sit down with his son, not to argue or persuade, but simply to listen. He didn't say much, just listened to his son talk about the challenges and pressures he faced at work. From that moment, they began to rebuild their relationship on the foundation of understanding and empathy. In Buddhism, communication is not just about expressing our thoughts, but practicing compassion and understanding. The Buddha taught that every word we speak has power. It can either build or destroy relationships. Therefore, when we communicate, let us speak with compassion, listen attentively, and always aim to create peace. Harmonious communication with our children does not mean we must always agree with their viewpoints, but it means understanding and respecting the differences. Through practicing compassion, we can create empathy and build bridges between generations. Maintaining harmonious communication with children requires us to practice patience, listening, and understanding. Here are some ways to do this. Practice non-judgmental listening. When children share, listen with an open heart without rushing to judgment or giving advice. This helps children feel understood and trusted. Accept differences. Each generation has different ways of seeing life. Learn to accept that our children may have different viewpoints from us, and that's natural in the process of growing up. Communicate with compassion. When we talk to our children, speak with compassion and gentleness. Avoid hurtful or critical words, and instead create a safe space where both sides can share and listen. Ask yourself, am I listening and understanding my children? Am I practicing compassion in communication? Harmonious communication is the key to maintaining harmony in the family. And when we practice compassion and understanding, we create a loving and supportive environment. Living with purpose, the jewel of intention. The ninth and final jewel is living with purpose. In old age, we may sometimes feel like life has slowed down and we don't have much more to contribute. But the truth is, old age gives us the opportunity to live with deeper meaning, to contribute our wisdom and experience to the next generation. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes from living with purpose and meaning. When we have purpose, we have a reason to wake up every day. We have the motivation to keep learning and growing. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand. It can be helping others, taking care of family, or simply living with compassion and wisdom. Think of the story of Mrs. Alice, an 81-year-old woman living in a small town in New Zealand. After retiring, Mrs. Alice spent her time volunteering at a homeless shelter. Every week, she goes to the shelter to cook and talk with the homeless, sharing with them her stories and life experiences. For Mrs. Alice, volunteering is not only a source of joy, but also gives her the feeling that her life still has meaning and value. She says that her purpose is to bring smiles and comfort to those less fortunate. In Buddhism, living with purpose is part of the path to enlightenment. The Buddha taught that each of us has a purpose in life, to bring happiness and awakening to ourselves and others. When we live with purpose, we live with mindfulness, not letting life pass by meaninglessly. Purpose doesn't need to be something grand. Sometimes just living with compassion and helping others is enough to bring joy and fulfillment. We can find purpose in the small daily things, from taking care of family, volunteering, to practicing mindfulness and awareness in everything we do. Living with purpose is not always about doing grand things, but finding joy and meaning in the small daily acts. Here are some ways to live with purpose in old age. Find joy in helping others. Spend time helping others, whether it's within the family, friends, or the community. When we help others, we feel our lives have more meaning. Continue learning and growing. The purpose of life can also come from continuing to learn and grow ourselves. No matter what age we are, we can always learn new things and expand our perspectives. Live with compassion. Practice compassion in everything you do. The purpose of life can be to bring happiness to others and make a positive change in the world around you. Ask yourself, what gives me a sense of purpose in life? Every day is an opportunity to live with meaning and mindfulness. Whether through small actions or large ones, when we live with purpose, we find true fulfillment and happiness. Dear friends in the Dharma, we have journeyed through the 9 jewels of aging, qualities that help us live a fulfilling and peaceful life. These jewels are not just lessons for old age, but guiding principles for our entire lives. Remember that, no matter what age we are, we can always live with mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. These qualities will help us not only live longer, but live with quality and meaning. Every day brings us opportunities to learn, grow, and contribute. Thank you for listening, and may you all find peace, happiness, and wisdom on your path.